people coming in. So welcome everybody. My name is Hiam Nadel, and I'm one of the SONCL members. And this is coming to you from Johnson & Johnson, SONCL, Microsoft, and supported by the J&J Foundation. So our theme this year is take it apart, fix it, and build it back better. So today we're going to discuss what is Nurse Hack for Health, what exactly is a pitchathon, some of the key activities that you will be exposed to, more of the education and support that we'll provide, and what is the pitch flow, which is your presentation at the end. And then the essentials of intra and entrepreneurship and patenting. So we're just going to go over that very briefly because it's always a question every year. So we thought we would include a few slides on that. Okay, so what is Nurse Hack for Health? So our mission really is to unleash the power of nurses as innovative leaders and problem solvers to address the world's most pressing healthcare challenges, because we are the closest to the issues. So our theme, as I said, is take it apart, fix it, and build it better, but all the while trying to create a thriving workforce, a healthier work environment, and of course, we're all here for better patient care. But our underlying magic is that it has to be nurse-led innovation. We use design methodology, which is design thinking and human-centered design. We really deliberately bring in diverse perspectives, and this is an inclusive event, so it's open to all, free application. We're really encouraging interdisciplinary teams, and this is a global event. We also provide a community. It's supportive, it's educational. We provide coaches, volunteers, and mentors. So our impact over the 6 years we've been running the Nurse Hack for Health is that we found that nurses build confidence in innovating. They start to see themselves as innovators. We build a community. We provide professional purpose and inspiration. And so the 6 years that we've been doing it, we've had over 7,000 nurse participants from 72 countries. Amazing. We've had over 1,200 hacking hours, which means really like building the solution, thinking through the ideation, and looking through the problems. We've had 20 plus Nurse Hack for Health events. Some of them are on site. So, be on our mailing list so we can include those for you. And then we've also been able to provide greater than $1 million in grant funding for nurse-led solutions. And what is exactly a pitchathon? So we encourage you to form a team, and we encourage many interdisciplinary team members within your team. And then we ask you to innovate and try to solve the problem that you're coming with. And then it has to be nurse-led. And then we can receive, so this year we have up to $400,000 to give in funding, and I'll give you the breakdown in just a few slides. To bring your ideas to life. And this is, again, amazing, especially in light of all of what's going on and the lack of funding, et cetera. So why should health systems, nursing organizations, and for those of you that are nurse-founded startups, participate in the Nurse Hack for Health? So we want you to solve for foundational challenges to create a thriving workforce, a healthier work environment, and better patient outcomes. Provide an opportunity for ideating and generating new relationships and ideas across your organization, and the opportunity for pitchathon finalists to receive up to $400,000 in funding to bring their ideas to life. The 3 tracks that we provide this year for different organizations to participate will be track 1. So you will be able to get up to $225,000 for health systems, nursing organizations from high resource countries. And this is open for everyone around the globe, as well as track 2, which will receive up to $175,000 for health systems and nursing organizations from low to mid resource countries. The third track for the second year in a row is we are providing up to $35,000 for US-based nurse-founded startups, but this will be only for the United States. hoping to work on that in the future. So who's eligible to participate in track 1? Global health systems and nursing organizations must be a 501c3 or equivalent or have a fiscal sponsor. Must be from a high resource country as defined by the country resource guide that you can find on nursehackforhealth.org. In operation for a minimum of 1 year. So this organization or system has to be in operation for 1 year. It again has to be nurse-led, and we really highly encourage interdisciplinary teams from the same organization. So you can have nurses, nurse leaders, nursing students, grant and funding office members, other health system professionals. You can have designers. We really encourage the executives of your organization, and that is so they can really learn what you're trying to solve for and support you beyond the funding time. Innovation must create a thriving workforce or a healthier work environment and better patient care. So we're all aligned on that. Track 2 is the same criteria, but this is for low, middle resource countries. Again, you can find out from nursehackforhealth.org. And again, the same criteria, the same team members, the same interdisciplinary teams, and with the same goals. Track 3 are US-based nurse-founded startups. So you must be registered in the United States with a valid bank account. You must have less than $50,000 in capital. It must be nurse-led. And again, the innovation must create a thriving workforce and or healthier work environment, again, with the end result of better patient care. So this is the Pitchathon application process. We've already opened the application on May 1st. You will have an opportunity to go through an Innovation Academy, which I will describe in a minute. But your final proposals are due on September 21st at midnight. You will be notified if you move as a finalist. And Nico, are we still doing 10 finalists?
I believe we have 13 total finalists.
13 fine. Okay, so 13 teams will move on to the final stage. So for the Pitchathon finalists, these 13 teams will be notified again on October 9th. They will also go through an innovation accelerator from October 12th to November 6th. We'll have coaches assigned, mentors. We will pressure test your innovation. We will help you build your detailed year 1 budget. We'll help you practice your pitches. And then we'll ask you for a grant application, which will be due by October 30th. Again, if you become a finalist, we'll have all this information coming to you. On November 12th, you will have the opportunity to live pitch, meaning you'll be virtual, but you'll be delivering your pitch live to our judges. And again, track 1 has up to $225,000 to be able to ask for. Track 2 is $175,000, and track 3 is up to $35,000. When you are doing your budgets, please be as realistic as possible. So for example, if you need only $100,000, if you're in track 1, then that's what we ask you to ask for, because that would help us, that might allow us to give more than one team funding. If you need more than 225, that's okay too, but you have to prove and show us where the additional funding will come from beyond what we provide. So I hope that's clear, and happy to answer questions at the end. So all the participants must attend one of the information sessions in order to apply for the Pitchathon. There's also a QR code here that you can sign up. So we have done one on May 13th. June 2nd is today, and we have one more on September 15th. These sessions are also recorded, and you'll be able to listen to them after the live session. The Live Innovation Academy that goes on between now and when your application is due is around design thinking, AI prompting and AI solutions, budget and competitive analysis will give you, and then how do you craft the perfect pitch? So you can see this again, nursehackforhealth.org schedule. You'll be able to sign up for these. And I really highly recommend that you do. They're very informative and helpful to you. And as somebody's asking, does the whole team have to do the entire Innovation Academy? No, but it's highly recommended. Oh, they're answering for me, so that's great. So in terms of the, we have 3 courses that are asynchronous that you can also take. Again, it's Design Thinking, recorded by Professor Marion Leary, Crafting the Perfect Pitch, which I've recorded myself, and then Essentials of AI for Nurses by Kathleen McGraw, who's the Chief Innovation Informatics Officer for Microsoft. We also are available to you, so you would have to just go to nursehackforhealth.org schedule, and you can ask for support or help to meet with one of our team members, and we're happy to do that. And some of the things that we can help with is, and when you sign up for help, ask for what you need. Do you need help with pitching, or do you need a designer? Do you need someone else that's in healthcare in the organization that could help you? If you need engineers or business development, et cetera, developers and IT. So please be specific when you sign up for office hours and what type of help that you need. In terms of developing your pitch, so we ask that you identify the problem. You want to talk about your solution and how does it compare to what's out there already in the competitive space. You want to talk about the impact your solution will have, what it will cost and who will pay for that, how you will sustain it. And of course, we want to know about your team, and then closing. But throughout the entire pitch, you want to be able to tell it in a story. We want to understand how you came up with this problem, what motivated you to try to solve it. Was it a patient's story? Was it a story that you encountered, et cetera? So that's what we mean about your story. And again, we'll give you lots of help about this. I know it's a lot of information today. Okay, so now we're going to pivot a little bit. And I want to go over a little bit about what do we mean by open innovation, which is what we're doing here within the Pitchathon, to try to address what entrepreneurship is. And that's generally the people that will be applying in track 3, the nurse-led up startups. And then intrapreneurship for those of you that belong within an organization and are innovating. But before I go into any of this, any questions that I can answer, just please take yourself off mute, raise your hand, and I can answer the questions. Okay, great. That means I did a great job. All right, so let's pivot a little bit, and we'll talk about just on what is on this agenda. Thinking through what your organization, how it functions, and how it can help you with your innovation. We're just going to go over key components of what people are looking for. So eventually, if your innovation gets commercialized, maybe patented, things like that, and what the organization might be looking at, if you're going for funding with, let's say, venture capitalists, way in the future, what are they looking for, et cetera. And then a little bit about copyright. So entrepreneurship is really the process of identifying, developing, and bringing a new idea, product, or service to the market by that person assuming all the risks and rewards of starting and managing a business. And this, again, will probably be most likely track 3. Entrepreneurs operate independently outside of any existing organization. They're creating ventures that disrupt the markets or build entirely new ones. Their work typically involves mobilizing resources, securing their own capital, and navigating uncertainty to deliver value and growth. Intrapreneurs are people innovating within their organization. So they're practicing, they're applying their entrepreneurial skills, behaviors, and mindsets, but within an organization. Intrapreneurs are employees who innovate from the inside, identifying problems or opportunities and developing solutions while leveraging the organization's resources, infrastructure, and networks. Unlike entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs typically do not bear any personal financial risk, but they must navigate organizational structures, policies, and leadership to bring their ideas to life. The Nurse Hack for Health Pitchathon is an open innovation. The open innovation is intentional collaboration across disciplines, and in this case, across the globe, organizations, lived experiences to co-create, test, and scale solutions that improve outcomes, experience, and value. So it's really about the greater good. In terms of that, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, Sansiel do not have any claims on any of your ideas or your solution that you'll be developing. However, it does still open the door to the need for clear agreements about ownership, attribution, and value creation if from intrapreneurship within your organizations. So you must try to understand what does they might think that you developed this idea while working for that organization, and they may have some ownership. But on the flip side, they may have ownership, but they're going to help you file a patent if your idea is patentable. So there's all this stuff that goes on. So we really encourage you to try to figure out, usually within an organization, it's either called an innovation office or tech transfer office. And if you don't have a big, robust sort of organization, most of the times they do have attorneys that work for your hospital. And in terms for the entrepreneurs in the audience, you ought to think about, your idea, and should you think about maybe getting some legal advice, et cetera, if you feel that your solution might be patentable. Okay, so here is some, and most of these examples I'm using for my own organization, but I think lots of people look at this. So when you're trying to file a patent, first of all, is your invention patentable? And when do you file a patent? Most of the experience that we've had with the Pitchathon, the ideas are really quite very early stage. And so you need to go through a lot more before you can even come to this stage to think about patents, et cetera. So there's a lot, and we can walk you through a lot of this once we understand your innovation, and we can help with that. So lots of times, so you think about, well, is the invention patentable? Even if it's not patentable, you still can get it out in the market. You still can get it out there and have people use your solution. But people think about, well, is this invention has a clear and valuable commercial application? And is it set up for success in the commercial landscape? Meaning a few competitors that are out there that are already trying to solve this problem? And does the potential market and revenue eventually justify the cost of the patent that we will file? Again, these are all things that you're going to be prepping in your pitch. You're going to look at the competitive landscape. If there's a lot of people trying to solve this problem that you have, and there's a lot of solutions, you may want to rethink, is this something that will be worthwhile to get it out, and who will buy it? So we'll prepare you through the process here so that you answer a lot of these questions. But things to think about is people will come on and say, well, I'm really worried about doing this open innovation because I don't want to be able to have to tell my secret sauce. But we'll teach you how to not to tell your secret sauce. We'll teach you how to pitch so that you get enough information to get across so you can be judged by our judges, but not give your secret sauce. And I'll give you an example. We have an app that's developed that is for critical drug delivery, so that the staff have it at their fingertips to try to assess the flow rate, et cetera, of critical drugs. But there's so much math and algorithms behind it. So when I talk about it, we talk about how it's going to work, who it's for, but I'm not going to give away the algorithms and the codes that's behind it. So this is what I mean about how we'll teach you what you can talk in public and what you shouldn't. Okay, so the next thing is sometimes the organization will give you this internal funding to help you advance your solutions. So you'll get funding from the J&J Foundation, and then there might be additional funding in the hospital. Those are things you probably really want to look into. You look at other industries, sometimes industry partners will want to team up with you and help you take your innovation all the way through. And again, we will teach you during the one-on mentoring sessions and talking to you about all of that. And then sometimes, even though within your organization, they might find your solution so amazing and they will say, I think we could spin out a company here. And so they might encourage you to spin out a company. They'll offer you things like, well, do you want to be a CEO of the company? In which case you can't work for that organization any longer. But if you want to continue to work for the organization, the hospital might find a CEO for you, but you can take a different position within the company, but it's still your company that you spun off from your idea. So there's all these machinations and it's very complicated, but I just want to give you sort of a high level. There's multiple ways you can go. Okay, and then most of the time when you're in an organization or even an entrepreneur, you might want to just license your idea once it's vetted, once it's gone through all the de-risking and gone way further down. And lots of people like this. So you own the patent, but you want to license it for others to use, and they pay you each time they sell. So there's all, again, different ways to commercialize your solution. And then finally, I'm just going to talk briefly about copyright. And it's really, I'll give you an example here. We did a lot of delirium work. We created the processes and all of that. And we're giving it out for the greater good. But I had the team copyright it because it was the original work. So they get credit. So they can say this is copyrighted, but here, use it. Whoever wants to use this delirium work, please feel free to use it. But I think it's also important to understand, what does copyright mean? The minute you publish something, it is already copyrighted, but then you have to think about, should you actually register the copyright? Because if somebody were to infringe on it later on, how would you prove that it was copyright if you didn't register it? And registering actually copyright is quite cheap. It's like about $200 or so. So again, this is really just to give you a broad understanding of all the different ways innovation can get commercialized, can get patent or not patent, copyright, etc. Okay, I'll open that up for questions because that was a lot to give you. And we really want you to apply. It's amazing, all the mentors and we'll have entrepreneurs that help out. We'll have many reviewers and a lot of the SONCL team that have different skill sets. So I think you will get a lot out of this. And so we highly encourage you to apply. Christine, can you come off of mute and tell us what you mean by that question? Does it have to be an in-hospital solution or technology?
Yes, if it's more of a workforce innovation or a way to credential nurses in like a different way. It's not necessarily an in-hospital thing, like an in-hospital process. So I was wondering if that was something that was eligible.
Yeah, no, are you submitting as somebody in a hospital, or are you doing a nurse-led innovation?
I'm doing a nurse-led team entrepreneur.
Oh, fantastic. No, it does not have to be, it does not have to be, and you know, it should be, credentialing is great, and you know, taking the barriers of doing all of that would be great if you can solve it. But no, it does not have to be in the hospital. The hospital eventually may want to use your solution.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So again, Diana's asking, how do we get assigned mentors? So if you're asking for certain help, you can do that through office hours and ask for what type of skill set you need, and we'll get that to you. But if you become a finalist, you will get mentors and coaches throughout working to get you prepared for the final pitch day. Nico, do you want to answer Lizzie's for the fiscal sponsor?
Absolutely. Thank you, Ham. So the fiscal sponsor only plays the role of the nonprofit organization. So if you are located in the United States, the 501c3. If you are outside of the United States, it would be the global public charity equivalent within your home country. With a fiscal sponsor, however, you are essentially creating an agreement with that organization. So that agreement will need to be uploaded with your application for us to verify that they are indeed a public charity or a US-based 501c3, and we'll give insight in terms of how they will be sharing the funding if you were selected as an awardee to support your program.
Right. And then if you're not part of a 501c3 or equivalent, you can team up with a fiscal sponsor, right, Nico? Did you just say that?
Yes, that's the fiscal sponsor.
Yeah. Okay. And is the university a nonprofit?
If the university is a nonprofit, they would qualify as a fiscal sponsor.
Okay. It's a private university. So Nagwat, can you come? So are you nonprofit? Are you independent, but you want to work with a university? Can you give us a little more information?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. So I am a nurse educator. I work as a tutor in a university. So I thought that in case I will work with a team of nurses who are also educators. So we thought maybe our fiasco sponsor can be our university through that. Is it possible? Our university is a private one, not for profit, sorry, private for profit, but Christian led.
Nagawa, in this case, because it is a for-profit institute, it would not qualify. You would need to partner
Okay.
with a public charity, such as a local or country NGO, a nonprofit university, or a nonprofit public health system would then qualify.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. He may also see from Dion that there's applied to organization outside the U.S. That is correct. So if you are located in Portugal, for example, or any other country outside of the United States, and your institution is a for-profit, you would need to find a nonprofit fiscal sponsor in that country in order to make you eligible to apply.
And Margot's asking, instead of an invention per se, like an app or a machine, can we pitch an innovative training approach for nurses? Absolutely.
And Michelle's hand is up also.
Oh, hi. Hi, Michelle. Go ahead.
Hi there. I just want to confirm that the track 3 can be for profit.
Yes.
That is correct, Michelle.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
The only limitation is that it must have less than $50,000 in capital.
Any other questions?
I'm going to drop the support email address in the chat. So if any additional questions do arise, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And again, also for those office hours as well, we're more than happy as a team to set up time to walk through your problem and your solution and your application that you're working on.
Hey everyone,
Michelle, yeah,
I have a
Margot,
question.
yeah.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
the pitch-a-thon section of this application, is it until you are a finalist or you work on it even before that finalist session comes about?
So yes, you have to, yes. So everyone is applying now until September 15th. And then from that group, there'll be reviewers who will review the applications and then decide who the 13 finalists will move on.
So the pitch-a-thon is just for the 13 finalists.
The final end in November, when they do the live pitch, yes, that will be just
Okay.
for the finalists.
Okay, but from the application portal, where you have the questions on, what your project is, your solution, and all that, there's also a session for the pitch.
That's correct, Doris. So actually
That's
leads
So I was
that.
asking if pitch even before we get selected.
Right.
Hello, did you get the question?
Doris, yes. So the crafting the perfect pitch session is to help provide some tips if you are selected as a finalist on how to pitch your solution. Even if you are not selected as a finalist, we find it very beneficial for nurses to participate in case they need to pitch an idea within their institution or as a nurse entrepreneur, for example.
Okay. Okay, so for the deadline submission of September 21st, it's not necessary that you have a pitch. Is that what you're trying to say?
You will not have your vocal audio pitch. You will have to upload your pitch deck, which is that template, which is available for download via the toolkit.
Yeah. All right then.
Yeah, it's both
That's
the
fine.
application and the PowerPoint, yeah.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Margot is asking, can it be an innovation that is already developed and being deployed at hospitals, but we want support to scale it further?
Margot, is this in the same hospital? Is this something that is already developed in one country that might be supported in another country? Could you kind of explain that for us?
Yeah, sure. No, it's an innovation that is currently being scaled across Nepal, but slowly when funding is available. So if we had more funding, we could bring it to more hospitals, but not every hospital has it right now.
Understood. Would you be able to send us an email to the support and we can review that internally and follow up with you accordingly?
Sure thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great questions. Any more? All right, so let's see. I think we're at the very end, right?
Oh, I took, I'm sorry.
Oh, you
Liam.
took it? That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I just shared the last slide about the process. It says 2025. I'm not sure how that happened, so please excuse that. In terms of the final proposals and the applications being due by the 21st as the deadline.
Okay. All right. Since you have control, do you want, okay.
Wonderful. Well, thank
So
you
I
so much,
hope you're all
Liam.
excited about applying. We want you to apply. We love to hear all the ideas that nurses have. It's always amazing.
Again, this session has been recorded and will be made available on the Nurse Hack for Health website. So please feel free to, also we had an info session on May 13th, as Hiam has mentioned, that recording is also up there. As we host the Innovation Academy as well, those sessions will also be recorded and made available. And just as of yesterday, Kathleen McGraw from Microsoft, one of our co-organizers, and I've recorded a session on the 5 rights of AI for those of you that are interested in building a solution that is focused in artificial intelligence. And what does that look like for your organizations? That will be made live tomorrow as well. So please stay tuned. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Guillaume. Thanks,
Bye.
Dean.
Looking forward to your applications.
Thank you so much. Have a